Namaste and welcome. In yoga classes of many styles, you will find the Sun Salutations, or Surya Namaskar, their traditional Sanskrit name. These integrated series of yoga poses, also known as asanas, are coordinated with the breath to help build a conscious connection between breathing and moving the body. They're really a foundational practice for beginners and experienced yogis. They can be practiced as a warm-up to build up to other yoga poses, or they can be practiced just on their own for their invigorating qualities. Physically, they help to build strength, they help to increase flexibility, they help to improve mobility, and they also require a deep awareness and focus, so they have mental benefits as well. They're often referred to as meditation in motion. So try it out for yourself. This is video number 2 of 3, so we already explored a very basic Sun Salutation in the first video, so check that out if you haven't already. And today we'll be exploring Surya Namaskar B. So builds on Form A, adding a few different asanas, poses, and transitions. So let's start with the breath. Now, the breath is really going to be the foundation for our practice. It's going to carry us through all of the transitions, the poses. So we really want to find that deep awareness of how the breath resonates within the body. So take a moment in a standing or seated position, whatever is comfortable for you. And you can soften your gaze or close down your eyes and just begin to tune in. Just start by listening to your breath. So you can invite the ujjayi breath. It's called in yoga the wave-like sound, almost like a whisper or fogging a mirror as you constrict the back of the throat. And if you're able to breathe in and out through your nose, remember that the sinuses, the nasal cavity have all that lovely mucus and hair that helps to filter the breath. But if it's too narrow, then just part your lips and breathe in and out of the mouth. Try and deepen your inhales, lengthen your exhales so that you find that calm and steady breath. Now we'll deepen the physical awareness within the body. So just take a nice deep breath into your lungs. Feel how your rib cage expands outward with that in-breath. And then slowly exhale as you feel the low ribs draw in, the diaphragm tucks back up underneath the ribs. Now take a nice big belly breath, breathe nice and deep into the body. Feel how your abdominal wall expands and lengthens outward. And then as you exhale, begin to engage through the core as you draw back in. That pressure releases out of the abdomen. Good, so now see if you can breathe even deeper into the body. Take a nice deep breath in into the interior space of the pelvis. So use that pressure from the breath to lengthen out the pelvic floor muscles as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, you're going to engage in Mula Bandha, it's called in some yoga practices. As you engage in that Kegel exercise, you're engaging in lifting the pelvic floor up and in as you exhale. So begin to zip up through the front of the body as that air releases out of the lungs. Good, and then breathe in all the way down to the base of your body. Feel that lengthening, expansive quality of the in-breath. And then slowly exhale, feel that supportive, stabilizing quality of the exhale. Good. So moving forward into our physical practice, we just want to try and keep this awareness of the breath. And if at any time you need to slow down, take a step back, retract your breath, then certainly take that time to do it. It's well worth it. So as with all of the Sun Salutations we will be exploring within this series, they all begin and end in a standing position called Tadasana or Samastitihi, which translates to mountain pose or equal standing. So we'll begin at the top of your mat in a standing position. So as that name suggests, you want to be standing with equal weight through all sides of the body as well as equal lift. So take a moment and find that for yourself. Press into all four corners of the feet. Feel that equal pressure through the right to the left side, front and back, as well as equal lift up through the body. Make sure that you don't overextend the knees, but you're not just bending into them either. So nice strong activation through the legs. Make sure that you're not rounding your shoulders forward. Shoulders are over the hips, but you're not flaring the low ribs forward as well, kind of over-activating and opening the palms. Just kind of find that nice, steady, solid standing pose. Nice and strong and tall like a mountain. So our next pose is Utkatasana, which is chair pose. So on an exhale, bend your knees and sit your pelvis nice and low like you're going to sit on a chair. And then inhale the arms up overhead. So the arms can be shoulder distance, or you can press the palms together looking up to the thumbs. And just take a few breaths exploring this pose. So it requires a lot of strength in the legs to sit nice and low. Draw the belly in, keep breathing. Extend up through the arms. Imagine the arms are creating strength to pull the shoulders away from the hips. Good. On an exhale, we'll fold to Uttanasana, forward fold. So extending through the legs a little bit, straightening them out, but you can keep a little bit of a micro bend if you're tight. Relax the upper body over the legs. You can bring the hands to the mat or your hands to the elbows if that feels better. Just relax the crown of your head towards the floor and use gravity to kind of extend through the spine. So you'll notice here in this forward fold, we're not able to belly breathe too much. So you want to just breathe into the back, use that full capacity of the lung space. Good. On an inhale, we're going to move forward to Ardha Uttanasana. So as you inhale, walk the hands forward to a half lift. So you're lifting the chest forward. You can bring the hands to the legs, the calves, or the thighs to give yourself a little bit of support. Notice how it requires some core strength to keep your spine long and parallel with the floor. Good. Crown of the head reaches away from the hips. All right. Now on an exhale, we're going to move to Chaturanga Dandasana. So plant the hands and step back to plank. It's high plank to low push-up. So it requires a lot of strength through the hands, the arms, the upper back, as well as the core to keep the pelvis lifted. So if you already feel like your arms, your upper back is challenged, maybe you just want to drop your knees, take the core out of it a little bit, and just focus on the upper body first. So make sure that the wrists and shoulders are stacked, but you're keeping that activation through the hands. Press into all pads of the hands, all pads of the fingers to support the little joints, the knuckles, the wrists, and then press down into the floor like you're pushing the floor away from you. That'll help activate the arms and keep the shoulder girdle nice and active as well, so the shoulder blades are opening away from the spine. Make sure the neck is long so the tops of the shoulders are drawing away from the ears. And if it feels good here, you can engage the core, tuck the toes, and lift the hips, coming into your high plank. So just make sure if you are lifting up the pelvis, you're not rounding the low back, sometimes over crunching those core muscles. This is exaggerated, but it creates that rounding in the back, which creates a domino effect up through the shoulders, so the shoulders are kind of crunching up. But you also don't want your hips to be dipping either, because that creates a little bit of crunching in the low back. So make sure that you're nice and strong through your high plank. We're going to exhale and lower to our low push-up. So bending the elbows, keeping them in towards the body. And you want your elbows to kind of be bent at 90 degrees. And if this is too much, just drop the belly down. You don't have to hold yourself in that hover position. So find what feels good, lower down, point through the toes, engage your glutes. We're going to lift forward to our Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. So pulling through your hands as if you're going to slide yourself forward on the mat. You're going to lift the heart into a gentle back bend. So you can come into just a cobra, roll the shoulders down and back, the neck is long, keep the gaze down the nose, and lengthen the spine. So you're engaging the glutes to tuck the tailbone and lifting up through the crown of the head to keep the spine nice and extended. If you want to go into your full upward facing dog, you extend the arms, lift the thighs. Wherever you are, just take another full breath. And then we'll exhale back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, so downward facing dog. So you can reverse your push-up or tuck your knees, press your knees down, tuck your toes, descend your hips back, extending through the arms, and then send the hips high. So downward dog, similar to handstand, is an inversion. Don't worry, we're not going to handstand, but just to kind of give you an idea of what's happening here, you're lifting the pelvis up over the heart, the lungs, the brain, giving yourself a nice little flush with the help of gravity. So just connect with your breath. It can be a little bit alarming for the nervous system. And then make sure that you're nice and strong through the hands, the arms, the upper back. So again, pressing through the pads of the hands, extending through the arms, open up the shoulders, make sure the neck is nice and long and you're sending those hips high to keep the spine nice and straight. Sometimes bending your knees can help with that. Again, similar to our plank, we don't want to be rounding forward into the shoulders, and sometimes really trying to just press your heels down creates that rounding. So draw the belly in, bend your knees, come into a little bit of a squat, squatting dog I like to call it, and just breathe. All right, on an inhale, we're going to step forward to Virabhadrasana, Warrior One. So inhale and step your right foot forward between the hands, or you can help it up if you need. And then you're gonna drop your back foot down. Make sure you're planting through both feet. And then inhale, come up to standing. So just bring your hands to heart center at first, and just find your foundation, which in this pose is your feet. So you wanna be pointing that front foot forward. The back foot's on a little bit of an angle, and you're extending through that back leg. From there, bring your attention up through the leg, so the front knee is bent over the ankle, and you're squaring the hips forward. So hands at heart center helps to find your midline. Make sure that midline is facing forward towards the top of the mat. Once the hips are squared, engaging through the core, make sure you're not collapsing into that low back, banana back they call it. Shoulders are over the hips, and then inhale the arms up. So using that extension of the arms to lengthen out the spine. Again, your hands can be shoulder distance, or the palms can be pressing together, looking up. Good. Take another deep breath. And then we exhale down to our Chaturanga Dandasana. So step back to plank, high or low. Remember, you can always drop the knees, and then lower yourself down. We'll inhale forward to that back bend, so you can either inhale to Cobra or upward facing dog, extending the arms. Explore your breath here, take it nice and slow, and then we'll reverse it back on an exhale to our downward dog. You can always drop the knees and send your hips back, breathe, and find your downward dog. Bending your knees is always an option. All right, let's go to Virabhadrasana, Warrior One on the other side. So on an inhale, step that left foot forward, drop the back heel, plant through both feet, and then your next inhale lifts you up again. So to standing, find your hands at heart center and check in on this side. So plant through those feet, the front toes face forward, the back foot is on a little bit of an angle, extend through the back leg, bend the front knee. Square the hips forward, lengthen up through the spine, feel that nice core turning on, kind of like a corset tightening around you to keep the spine nice and long. And then inhale the arms up. Good. Again, if you want more of that extension, you can press the palms together in front of the face and reach up. Good. On an exhale, we'll lower back down to plank. So hands plant down under the shoulders, step the feet back, and lower down. Good. Inhale to your Cobra or upward dog. Good. Just explore the back bend, find where you want to be. And then exhale back to downward dog. And you can always press your knees down, send the hips high. All right, so there we go. We kind of did a lunge position. So Warrior One is kind of a lunge of the hips. So we did one on each side. Now we'll complete our Sun Salutation with that forward fold chair to standing. All right, so on the end of an exhale, just gently micro bend the knees, looking forward. And then as you inhale, step or hop the feet towards the hands, lifting the heart for that halfway lift. And you can take a few breaths here. Again, hands can come to the legs, wherever they want to be. Just make sure you're not pressing into the knees. And then our next exhale will fold forward. Again, bend your knees if you're tight. Feel the belly draw in. Again, we're moving really slow through this first round. All right, on an exhale, bend your knees nice and low, preparing for that chair pose, and then inhale the arms up. Draw the belly in. Good, exhale, sink low. And you can bring the palms together, looking up to the thumbs. And maybe you just want to have your hands at heart center here as you breathe and kind of figure out what's happening in the lower body. Just explore this pose for yourself. It's a practice. And with time, you'll build up to something new. Good. On your next inhale, come to standing, straighten the legs, arms to the side. Our Samastitihi mountain pose. Let's move through again. This time we will utilize the inhales or the exhales to aid in the transition to each pose. Now this can be challenging because it requires you to extend your breath. So if you're not used to breathing slow, or you're not used to being in these postures in general, it can be an added challenge. So if you need to take extra breaths, then take them and just make it a practice to work up towards one breath per movement. Explore the sensations and modify yourself as necessary, referring to our previous clip. And remember, no one person looks like anyone else in any given yoga pose, so just find what feels right for your body. All right, find your equal standing mountain pose at the top of your mat. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, bend the knees, sit nice and low. So using that exhale to engage the body. Inhale as you reach up, so use the breath in to extend up through the arms, the spine, into your chair pose. Exhale as you fold forward, so using that exhale to draw the belly in, extend through the legs, let the upper body hang. Inhale to your half lift, using the breath in to fill up the lungs, lengthening the spine forward. Exhale to your chaturanga, plank and lower down, so using that exhale to engage through the core, through the upper back as you lower down. Good, inhale, using that breath in to lift the chest into your back bend, cobra or upward dog. And then exhale, using that exhale to pull the hips back into your downward dog. All right, find your breath here, and then we're gonna keep moving forward. On an inhale, step the right foot forward and lift the arms into your warrior one. So using that breath in to lift the body up. Exhale to chaturanga. So long exhale as you step back to plank and lower down, staying nice and strong. Inhale to your back bend, cobra, upward dog. Exhale, pulling the hips back, downward dog. Inhale, step the left foot forward to your warrior one, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga, plank and lower down, keeping that control. Inhale to your cobra, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. And find your breath. Micro bend the knees. Inhale as you step forward to your half lift. So using that breath in to lengthen. As you exhale, fold, draw the belly in. Sit nice and low, bend the knees. Inhale, lift the heart, reach the arms high, chair pose. Exhale to mountain. Good. Let's move through one final round. I'll simply cue the breath and the pose for you to experience the full sequence for yourself. Just remember to follow your breath and modify as necessary. All right, find your mountain pose, equal standing. Take an inhale and exhale, sit nice and low. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank and lower. Inhale to your back bend, cobra, up dog. And exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right foot forward, warrior one. Exhale, plank and lower. Inhale to your cobra, up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left foot forward, warrior one. Exhale, plank and lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Micro bend the knees. On an inhale, step the feet forward, half lift. Exhale, fold. Sit nice and low, inhale, chair pose. Exhale, mountain, hands to sides. All right, so now that we've explored that sun salutation in a few different ways, I encourage you to play around with it, maybe try 3 to 5 rounds and just explore how you feel, try and get into that kind of flow state, that meditative state as you move and breathe, and just make it a practice. Let me know what you think, leave your comments below. I'm Carly, thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out my other YouTube videos, make sure that you check my channel and hit subscribe while you're there. Until next time, namaste.